We will take up the first verse of Atma Bodha. This is the introductory verse. After this, from the second verse onwards, each verse almost will have one very appropriate analogy to explain the essence of that verse. Okay? Tapobi Kshina Papanam Shantanam Vitaraginam Mumukshunam Apekshoyam Atma Bodho Vidhiyate. I am composing Atma Bodha, this treatise of knowledge of the self. Atma Bodho Vidhiyate. For those who have purified themselves by austerities, tapokshina papana, and are peaceful in heart, shantanam and calm, who are free from cravings, vitaragina, and are desirous of liberation, mumukshunam apekshoyam. This text starts with the word tapas. An auspicious start in the context of this subject. The entire Ramayana began with this word, and what a great book that is. Tapas is an auspicious word. It is tapas that opens the door to all auspiciousness. It cleans us of all the dirt and impurity in our heart and makes it ready to receive divine knowledge. The very thought of brahmajnana, or knowledge of the self, brings auspicious thoughts to our mind. In itself, it is an invocation to merely utter the name Atma Bodha. This is thus to be taken as an invocation or a Mangala Charanam to begin this unique text on self-knowledge. Atma Bodha is for whom? Who is eligible to take this text? The fourfold prospectus announcing the purpose and eligibility for the study of this book is given as follows. We already have gone through this, at least a few of you, in one of the courses recently. Maybe in Hanuman Chalisa talk or some talk. Anubandha Chatushtaya, fourfold qualification for being eligible to take up this book or any book on Vedanta. Adhikari. The opening words state for whom this book has been written. Those who have purified themselves with austerities, tapobhikshena papana, who are peaceful in heart, free from cravings. Shankara has made it clear in this first invocation verse that one who has undertaken intense austerities in spiritual path and has purified one's mind with a peaceful heart, free from desire for worldly pursuits, is the actual adhikari, the one who deserves to get the full benefit of this treatise. The other three in the Anubandha Chatushtaya are Vishaya, subject matter. Here, Atma Bodha is the subject matter. Prayojana, purpose of this text, liberation. Then Sambandha, Bodhya, Bodhaka, Sambandha, relationship of the seeker of knowledge to the use and knowledge in the text. The seeker who is desirous of salvation will find the knowledge of self in this book, directly leading him to liberation. Adhikari, Vishaya, Prayojana, Sambandha. Then we come to the purifying oneself through austerities, tapas, tapovikshina papana. Tapas is any sadhana which is undertaken to make the mind turn inward, to make it introspective and thereby suitable for inner reflection. This definition clarifies the popular meaning of the word, which is taken to mean severe austerities. It is not what we do that describes tapas fully, but it is with the what attitude we do it. This is an important distinction between action as tapas and attitude in tapas. Much of what passes as tapas may in fact be pure expression of the ego wanting to gain some appreciation in this matter. This is not tapas in real sense. With tapas, desires have to be put off. But denial of desires is not because of compulsory situations or for want of any acclamation, but it is for a higher cause. Understanding tapas as explained here, such a tapas purifies one of all impurities. To purify oneself is the object of undergoing any tapas. Having undergone tapas, one gets the necessary purity of mind or chitta shuddhi to begin the path of jnana yoga or Vedanta, that is to follow in the rest of this text. The term chi, china papana, chi is used to indicate that our sins have to be decayed. By decaying, they will die off. They will, of course, be removed totally only through jnana which is still to come, but the bulk of the gross impurity is cleared by tapas. Sin is not an action in itself as explained earlier. It is the tendency to live and think negatively, which is left over in our mind because of our own wrong actions and vasanas accumulating due to our past actions. These vasanas are not gone totally, but they are reduced with tapas. These sinful tendencies become weak, kshina, when we practice self-control over a long period of time. The key factor in this process of purification is the reduction of three things that draw our attention outwards. Lokeshana, vitteshana, putreshana. Lokeshana, that is worldly name and form, which is kirti. Vitteshana, worldly comforts, and is comparable and is understood as kanchana. Putreshana, desire for children, that and is equivalent to kamini. Kirti, kanchana, kamini. All these have to leave us for us to be rendered pure for taking up this text. Gaining the control of mind and body and doing all austerities will still be of no good if one has no desire for liberation. Mumukshunam apekshoyam. Shantana. Tapas eventually renders the mind calm and peaceful. Shantanam refers to those who are peaceful. Only such person can see the defects of cravings. They are the persons described by the word vitaragina. Mumukshunam. When cravings for the objects of the world is removed by seeing the defects in them, then the desire for liberation grows in direct proportion. Sadhana chatushtaya is implied in a subtle way in this verse. Vitaragi is vairagya, which comes from viveka. Shanta sums up all the virtues under Shat Sampatti. And Mumukshatva is of course the fourth and the final culmination in the Sadhana Chatushtaya. So, in nutshell, this verse says, those who have cleansed their minds by spiritual practices as tapas, those who have attained a degree of mental calmness which is required to contemplate and meditate, those who have at the very least realized that the cravings of the body are ephemeral, vitaragina, those who have intense desire for liberation. Such aspirants become uttama adhikari to take up Atma Bodha. In his experience in the last 11 years, from the time he started teaching or transmitting the Brahmajnana, which was graced to him by Bhagavan as inner experience, he has seen at least, he has not counted so far, maybe 30 or 40 or 50 aspirants walking up to his place and attending to sessions. No doubt, knowledge is meant for everyone. Everyone is entitled for Brahmajnana. But without adequate preparations, the tapas, resulting in weakening of the impact of past desires and reducing or eliminating all future desires, which results in a tranquil mind and which facilitates one to gain Anubandha Chatushtaya or Sadhana Chatushtaya. Without all these things means totality, he is telling. Not that none of the other sadhakas had none of these qualities, but in totality, without all these together, except for very few, others could not sustain the session contemplation for a long time. Some walked away in 2 years, some in 4 years, some in 6 years. And thereafter, many came and many went within 1 or 2 years itself. Only when the mind is trained to see oneness everywhere can there be tranquility. Only when the mind is tranquil can the knowledge become clear. Mind has to be capable of being calm in any situations and to constantly immerse in the teachings of the scriptures and Guru. One has to again and again remember that all these are only qualifications for knowledge and they do not give the knowledge directly. Shankara here means that without sadhana chatushtayam, the knowledge is not possible. But we also have to remember that any amount of tapas can never liberate one from sorrow, but it is only the knowledge resulting from that liberates one from all miseries. It is the knowledge that is the final aim for a seeker, and these only qualify a seeker to receive it from a guru. This verse may not be taken so as to disqualify outright those who have not cleansed themselves of their sins fully and those who have not been endowed with sadhana chatushtaya and those who have not developed intense craving for liberation. Rather, if the appropriate time has come for anyone listening to this talk, this has to be taken as a motivating factor, motivating talk to start looking inward, to know where he or she is as per the requirements specified, qualifications specified in this invocatory or introductory verse, and thus one can start improving oneself, start moving away from the negative tendencies, and make efforts to be worthy enough to take up such a treatise sincerely, which is going to be given verse after verse every week from now on. Even those who have sustained the spiritual sessions for 11 years now, they did not know what sadhana chatushtaya is, what Atman is, what Brahman is, and what Brahmajnana is. But what were their qualifications? This is being given here not to speak high of them, but to make others understand that the qualification, initial qualification is many years or many births of devotion and accepting one convincingly as their guru to impart Brahma Vidya. Even if these two qualifications are there, then ultimately those devotees or those sadhakas, those jivas will get all the qualifications which are given in this particular verse and glide along with their guru to attain Brahma Vidya ultimately in one birth or the other. Bhakti and surrender and accepting a Shrotriya Brahmanishta Guru and having full faith in the one whom you have accepted as your Guru. To begin with, these qualifications are enough to move on in this path of jnana. Hari Om Tat Sat.